I think if you ask me, I feel there are a lot of puzzle pieces to health. It's not just one thing. Yes, what you eat, what you put in your mouth, nutrition from food is extremely important. But I think we as human beings nourish ourselves at deeper levels in a lot of ways, emotionally, mentally, physically. So I think we need to strike a right balance between our physical movement, the right nutrition on the plate, and again off the plate through our relationships, through our connections, through our hobbies, through the joy we get in our life, through the things we love to do. So I think that's very important. So nourishment at a deeper level through food and every other puzzle piece.
Okay, but does nourishment necessarily means that food should taste medicinal, that we have to suffer to have a good meal and not let our taste buds have a good time?
Not at all. In fact, I, as a nutritionist, if you ask me, I became a nutritionist because I was a foodie. So I thought I'll be very close to food, so let me pick up nutrition as a career. And I've authored 3 books which emphasizes on taste along with health. I mean, taste is very important. That's your first sense which is going to taste the food. When you're going to put in your mouth, you're going to get an experience of how it feels, and that needs to be palatable, that needs to be tasty, that needs to be something that pleases your taste buds. And I want to break this myth that it's not that that healthy food needs to be bland and boring. It can be absolutely tasty through herbs, spices, and a lot of ingredients.
Okay, so I have one more follow-up before I bring the rest in. A lot of nutrition works on trends, right? I've suddenly, which didn't exist before that. There's a new trend that we are trying to start, which is on millets. I'm told that's healthy food. Are millets actually healthy for us? Bajra, is it healthy for us?
Yeah, well, it's new right now, but our grandparents did eat that. I mean, it's just after the Green Revolution that we focused a lot on wheat, but I think millets have been a part of India for a very long time, and we used to eat seasonally, as in our ancestors used to eat seasonally, and when there was different seasons, we would eat different grains, so bajra in winters, and other millets in other seasons. But I think with time and with urbanization and just so much of food processing that happened, wheat became the mainstay. Okay. And I feel millets have so much scope to improve your health because there's so much more fiber, so many more minerals in millets, which you may not find in your wheat, like calcium, iron, magnesium, and all this is very important for our health.
All right, so let me get Rachna ji into this conversation. Rachna ji, I'll talk about food as a form of therapy as well. But before that, let me ask you a basic question. All of us, of course, have our 2-3 meals a day. Are we generally doing okay when we are having our normal breakfast on the go and, you know, grabbing a burger for lunch and having a dinner out? Are we generally eating healthy, or generally we are in a mess, and if you actually scientifically analyze what we eat, you will find that most of us are in trouble?
We are in trouble.
Okay.
I would agree with what Neha said earlier. Nutrition or food, you cannot just look at it as the physical realm. It's at the physical and emotional realm. What are we? We are mind and body. Your mind is not sitting outside somewhere. It is within you. So if you do not nourish your soul, if you do not nourish your mind, and you only nourish your body, and you are in a hurry and there is no mindfulness and there is no pause for taking a breath and self-nurturing. I treat mostly chronic diseases and cancer, and I will get people who eat very good homemade food come to me with metastatic cancer. So cancer spares no one, inflammation spares no one. The moment we have inflammation inside the body, it means that you have the right environment for chronic diseases, pain, autoimmune, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes. Obesity is a huge risk factor for all this. What are we doing? We are going from one task to the other. So food as therapy is food in your mind in terms of good thoughts, pausing, and food on your plate to pause and enjoy.
No, yeah, so what kind of prophylaxis can I do here? Okay? Should all of us actually take a pause for the cause and meet you before there's a problem?
Meet me before there's a problem?
Or a nutritionist before there's a problem? Because that's not something...
No, I think
you generally go to a nutritionist when you're in trouble.
No, sir, that self-work is something that comes from self-realization. If I am in touch with my body, I will wake up in the morning and I will get the symptoms our body talks to us. So if you've had 8 hours of sleep and you're still tired and want to go back to bed, it's a sign. Your body is talking to you. If you are getting frequent headaches, unexplained pains, there's nothing wrong with your reports, then it's a sign. If you have skin pigmentation, constipation, these are all signs. Our body talks to us. Just pause and say there's something wrong in how I am living.
Okay.
Let me just fix it.
Okay, I have a couple of questions for Sapna Vyas, and I'm going to get my colleague and our news anchor, now associate news editor Devika Chopra, who has gone through her health concerns. She's very young, she's only 26, and nutrition, I'm sure, is part of her healing process after having gone through them over the past 2 years. But I still have a couple of questions before I hand over to Sapna Vyas. Sapna Vyas, obviously health and fitness, we say, is an important part of life, should be. But in terms of what we eat, you know, I was asking this question to Neha, that it becomes very trendy. We think this is good for us because on Instagram that's what we're told is good for us. How many of us actually understand the science behind it? Should we try to understand the science behind it?
See, there are certain things which all of us should be aware of and should know, and let's understand one thing, that all that glitters is not gold. What you see on Instagram, how many likes that influencer is getting for posting certain thing, doesn't mean that that trend is something that you can follow. Because number one, for example, if you are following a celeb who is being monitored by experts, and unfortunately a common man would not have that facility, that connections, and those experts on, like, they can just call them and they'll get the help. So don't go for such trends which you don't know about. Always research, always understand, and yes, we need to develop a very preventive sort of mindset. Unfortunately, we Indians only do the blood test when there is a problem or when the doctors advise. You should look at a body in a way that, you know, it's always constantly evolving, constantly changing, and especially we live in a world where there is so much stress, and we have over expectations with ourselves. In these times we need to take much more preventive measures.
Okay, I feel a bit awkward having this conversation after, you know, having just snuck in some butter chicken and, I don't know, matar paneer and mixed vegetables which I've just had. But I know this conversation is deeply personal to Devika as well, since she's very careful about what she eats, having gone through a health crisis from which she's emerged wonderfully. Devika.
Thank you so much, Rishabh. Rachna ji, you've also dealt with autoimmune diseases, as Rishabh was pointing out, that, you know, I'm a cancer survivor myself, and a huge part of that was the nutritional changes that I made during chemotherapy. I went to a nutritionist and she said, don't listen to the doctors, because the doctors in the hospital will just tell you to go through chemo and you will come out of it, but nutrition is what will keep your weight steady, is what will help you maintain the energy that you need to go through, you know, stuff like chemotherapy or even other long-term when people are admitted into hospitals. So, Rachna ji, how has your personal journey been?
So I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis in 2006, and typically, like any rheumatologist will tell any patient, is that they put me on methotrexate, which is a chemo drug, steroids and immunosuppressants, but my pain did not go away, my deformities did not go away. I still have a lot of deformities which I wear as a medal. When I approached the doctor with research on certain nutritional changes, I was dismissed like I was a 5-year-old idiot. I'm sorry to say that. But I found the path. I think the universe was very kind. I found the path to heal myself. The biggest turning point for me was not when I changed the way I ate, because I was already eating healthy. I was already having my vegetables, doing my exercise, but my biggest change came when I turned to pranayama, meditation, and acknowledging to myself that there was an emotional trigger to my RA. And even today, like 15 years that I've been treating other autoimmune and cancer patients, I always see this as a trend, whether it is cancer, autoimmune, or any other chronic condition. The immediate trigger is always emotional, and sometimes that trigger can go back into your childhood. what you were very blessed that you got a nutritionist who told you all that, and very, very brave journey. So nutrition not just gives you the energy when you are on chemotherapy, radiation and immunotherapy, but it also reduces the side effects. I've seen cancer patients succumb to chemotherapy and not the cancer. So the muscle wasting and the brain fog and everything can get prevented, and you can come out and be a warrior like you are.
Absolutely. Neha, same question to you. How do you now try to integrate nutrition in a way that people actually understand the importance better? Because a lot of us nowadays, we see, of course, people with perfectly sculpted bodies on Instagram who say that, oh, we eat whatever we want, but we gym for 2 hours a day and it's all fine. It all takes care of itself.
Well, I just want to tell you, whatever you see on Instagram is absolutely not true, because today morning I saw a video of a person who was showing that a girl has these very well sculpted butts and hips, and he just showed what went behind the shoot were the pads, the butt pads that they put actually inside her tracks to make her butt look that sculpted. So I just want to make this point that please don't believe the bodies that you see on Instagram, because no body is perfect. And that's what we are meant to be. We're not meant to be perfectly sculpted. We are meant to be healthy and agile, and you have the vitality from within. So with my clients, what I do is, to a great extent to what Rachna ji said, that you have to understand where the person is coming from. You're not treating a condition. You're treating the person, and not actually what disease does the person have, but actually who is the person who has this disease.
Right.
So you need to see that person is coming from a background where they have a lot of emotional turmoil, or have had some sort of massive traumas in their life, and from there you work towards a lot of mental, emotional counseling and healing, and fit in a lot of puzzle pieces, like I said, of health for them to feel better. Of course, you do certain things for rapid relief, like you would put in the right kind of supplements to make them feel better. You would put in the right kind of food, or do certain things instantly to make them realize that your body is not broken.
Right.
Your body is not betraying you. In fact, it loves you, because there's so much of imbalance within you. It's just trying to cope with what is happening, but it's always trying to keep you surviving, always trying to keep you healthy in whatever condition and environment you are providing to your body.
Yes.
So when you explain this to the person who has a health issue, they get that, and then from there you have to also tell them that it's a process, and you need to have faith in the process, because if you don't, like a lot of clients would come and tell me, Neha, this has happened, but I don't think I'll get there. I said, true. And then there are clients who will tell me, you know what, Neha, I think I'm going to do this. And I'm like, true. Because I'm like, what you say is going to happen. If you believe it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If you believe, no, not going to happen, I also can't help you, because I can just guide you. But your belief system is what tells every cell of your body, go for it, girl, go for it, guy, you can do this, you can reverse that condition, you can reverse that health issue.
Absolutely. Sapna, coming back to you, as a health coach, I'm sure, as Neha was also pointing out, that until and unless it comes from within, there's a voice that has to speak to you to tell you that, okay, I need to get my health sorted. How do you deal in terms of motivating people to reach that goal and to, just get the energy to actually just work on themselves?
See, I'd like to say something to all the people who are trying to support their family members, because I've seen so many of my clients who have been forced to maybe join my program because somebody told them that, you must. Now, any change can only come from within. If there is a spark, if there is an interest, only then will you do it. Otherwise, you might do certain things because you're forced to do it for a few days, but then eventually you will give up. So instead of forcing somebody to doing something, you can help them, you can provide the platform, you can give them enough knowledge, you can be the great support system. These are the things which you can do as a family member. But when it comes to me, I deal with my clients in ways where any change begins from the mind. So first we need to understand, see, fitness is a byproduct of your mental health, of your feelings, of your emotions. So that's the first place where I start working, where I understand why my client is wherever they are in their fitness journey. And that's the first place that we can begin with. Also, coming to your point when you talked about, people would eat anything and go to the gym and, try to burn those calories. Now, let's understand one thing. Going to the gym or going for a walk or doing cardio is because you want to achieve certain goals, where you want to develop more muscles, where you want to, have better endurance. But gym is not Ganga Nadi. It's not a place where you would do all the paap of the world and then go to the gym and paap dhul jayenge. So you have to eat right and consider gym as an add-on, as a support system, rather than as a place where you go to really, take a dip and burn the calories.
Okay, yes.
If you are exercising for a longer time and more vigorously, you cause oxidative stress to yourself, and that increases inflammation levels. So what she said, eat right, and those extensive hours in the gym you can cut down and protect yourself.
Rachna ji, coming back to you, I just want to understand from you, a lot of times people go into very extreme modes that, okay, today I'll cut off all sugar from my life, I'm going to cut off all maida, all sorts of wheat from my life. How do we strike the right balance? Because that's missing today. Because people just decide, they'll wake up one day and be like, okay, from today I'm going to just cut out this food group completely.
So if you are blessed to be healthy and there is no health scare, there are just 3-4 small changes that you have to make to prevent disease. One is, every single meal of yours should have 50% as vegetables. Green, yellow, orange, whatever you can get, but 50%. You can't heap up on your carbohydrates and then have the vegetable as a chutney. The second is, have your fruits as snacks. Because the body doesn't know the difference between a sugar rush from a chocolate or a sugar rush from a huge bowl of fruits, which people think is healthy. Don't have it as a dessert. So have it mid-morning with a cup of green tea, or early evening at tea time with a cup of green tea. My go-to is papaya. It's the best for liver and gut health. The third thing is sleep. Nobody is sleeping the hours that they need to. We all age, we all have oxidative stress, we raise our inflammation and our sugar levels, our hormones can go for a toss if we don't sleep. So everyone 7 to 8 hours of sleep. You don't feel sleepy, you have insomnia, it's a sign that it may be your hormones. Just sit and do some deep breathing before going to bed. That really helps. And the last is, you move. You don't have time to go to the gym, you don't have time to exercise. Before lunch, you walk for 10 minutes and earn your lunch.
Okay. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us think that, okay, let me go to the gym for 1 hour in the morning, or let me try to fit in some more time. But you have a good point there. That just, try to do small bouts of exercise through the course of the day, and that will probably seem less daunting. Neha, coming back to you, I just want to understand, coming to veganism also, there's a lot of criticism that comes towards veganism now. People are not being able to understand, but there also has to be a healthy transition. If I'm a person who's been eating meat, or I've been a pure vegetarian, but I've also been consuming dairy while growing up, I have to make that transition slowly and carefully because my body is used to something. How does one go about that?
Well, I would like to defy that, because I'm somebody who overnight switched to veganism.
Wow.
I'm not saying that has to happen for everyone. I'm not saying that has to ever happen for you. I mean, it's a personal choice. But for me, it was a calling, where I was a hardcore non-vegetarian. My breakfast would not start without a bowl of Kellogg's and milk, slim milk. But my body wasn't doing well. It wasn't. I was breaking out into acne. My hair was all over the place. My energy levels were dipping. And when I reviewed my diet and I went through a lot of research and saw a lot of documentaries, because we nutritionists are taught about protein and dairy and non-veg and dairy, and so of course I came from that thought process, right? But then I did my research, did my study, and I said, makes sense. And when I would eat non-veg, it would irk me. I would be like, why am I eating something dead on my plate? Why am I eating this energy? Why am I putting that energy in my body? And one fine day I just decided, okay, I want to give it all up. And that's how my veganism journey started, and it's been about 7 years now that I've been vegan. But I'm not saying that has to happen for everyone. I'm telling you, it doesn't happen for most people. But what the point here is that you consciously choose more plant-based stuff. So even if you're transitioning to a veganism or towards veganism or a vegan diet, what you need to do is you need to plan and substitute what you're having with healthier plant-based alternatives, which are endless, literally, and you'll see the effect of a plant-based diet. I'm saying go 20% animal-based, 80% plant-based. Even that's okay. As a vegan, I'm not saying you have to be a vegan. That's a personal choice. But try plant-based, especially if you have chronic diseases, if you have inflammation, diabetes, PCOS, thyroid. All of this starts majorly from your gut, and all these foods literally damage your gut lining, which is what absorbs all your nutrients. So if you keep your lining healthy with plant-based foods, because that has a lot of fiber, antioxidants, a lot of nutrients, you are going to thrive. And enjoy your animal meals once in a while. Enjoy your dairy, paneer, cheese once in a while. Have your non-veg if you want to once in a while. Or go cold turkey like me if you have it in you and you feel like doing it. So the choice is yours.
Okay, I'm running out of time, but I want to ask one last question to all of our panelists. Sapna, starting with you, how much of our emotional health and emotional well-being is connected to our gut?
Like I said, any change or all of our behavior is very much connected with our feelings, with our emotions, our thought process. So the way you think, the way you address, the way you deal with situation definitely has an impact on your overall well-being. Since for an end note, I'd like to say that, don't go excess for anything. It's always a balancing act. And ati sarvatra varjayet. Anything in excess is bad. If you keep this as your motto, I think you are good to go.
All right, Rachna ji, same question.
100%. Your thoughts are releasing acid in your stomach or not releasing acid. So if you are anxious, stressed out, there is acid release. Your brain is sending that signal to your body. So it's all interconnected, and then you spoil your gut health and you can't absorb the nutrients from the food that you're eating. There is this saying, you can go to the gym, you can eat your greens, but if you don't fix what's going on between your ears, nothing works.
Well, Neha, same question.
So there's a rule for my clients. Never eat when you're angry or upset. Because you could be eating a bowl full of broccoli there and ruining your body with that stress and that emotion of anger or fear or upsetness. And you could be relaxed, absolutely in a happy mood, and have an entire piece of cake, and it's going to do nothing bad to your body.
Wow, that's amazing.
So that's a rule, because literally your food has no power over your body, your mind, till your mind is not in control. So your mind has to be balanced for the food to be processed well in your body.
Okay.
Because everything starts with your emotions. Your body releases chemicals. The minute you feel fear, the minute you feel anger, there's a certain chemical reaction that happens in your cells. And that has an impact on the way your food acts on your body.
Well, hopefully this has been a learning experience for everybody who's watching us today. Thank you once again, Neha, Rachna and Sapna, for joining us for this session at We Women Want Shakti Awards.
Thank you so much.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.